Hi, this is Andrea Goncalves.
María Viscarret.
Viviana Gómez.
And Natalia González.
And we're gonna talk about interculturalism in the ESP classroom. For starters, there are a few concepts that we must have in mind in order to have a little background on this topic and make it easier to understand it. First, we have ESP, which stands for English for Specific Purposes. Now, what does it mean English for specific purposes? According to Hutchinson, 1987, ESP is an approach of teaching a language, in this case English, having a proper command on syllabus, methods, and the activities used for learning a language on the basis of the needs of learners and for the antecedent of their learning. Based on this definition, we can say that ESP was born in order to help English learners achieve their goal according to their needs and the purpose of function they would give to the language. This purpose can be either academic, professional, or occupational. Moving on, we will define interculturalism. As Bouchard and Taylor state, interculturalism refers to a government policy regarding the relationship between a cultural majority and cultural minorities, which emphasizes integration by exchange and interaction. Clear and concise, these authors define interculturalism in legal terms of equality between different cultures. Also, they explain that it is a policy that promotes, in other words, acceptance, respect, dialogue, and peaceful interaction between these people. Finally, there are two concepts that are very important, since they are the base of everything we will talk about later. These concepts have the same name, but not the same connotation. They are known as language. Now, we say that there are two concepts because language is not the same as a language. We have then what we call language. Williams states that it refers to a system of communication unique to human beings that makes use of written and vocal symbols. On the other hand, a language is a subcategory of this type of communication peculiar to a particular people, region, geographical region, or socio-political background, states Williams as well. In other words, language is the general human system of communication, and the language is a variety of language which is spoken by a given speech community, which can be determined by regions, cultures, social and political backgrounds, among others.
Having defined the previous terms, now we move on to our problem subject to observe, interculturalism in the ESP classroom. English has become an important language of communication all over the world because it is used in different domains such as business, politics, economics, medicine, and tourism. Nowadays, universities all over the world have a variety of teaching programs that are being broadened and updated in response to globalization and economic growth. Here, the perfect example of the ESP classes that, as my partner Andrea said, are courses or classes that help English learners achieve their goal according to their needs. Now, what does the cultural has to do with these courses or classes? For a long time, teachers has been focusing on strategies that may help students to have an immaculate command of English and a native-like accent. But for many learners, this is a distant goal. In a multicultural world where English is used as a lingua franca, it appears sensible to accept that it's more necessary for a language learners to be able to genuinely communicate and understand people in a range of various contexts than to mimic native speakers. For this purpose, decision makers in the field of education throughout the world stress the need for integrating intercultural teaching in the curriculum. In our increasingly interconnected planet, where technology provides a global platform where individuals explore ideas and cultures without restrictions, experts in the area of interculturality are claiming that language learners' horizons have to be widened through a sound intercultural instructions because, according to Holmes and Dervin, in 2016, they say that people may share a current nationality, place of birth, a language, a religion, a profession, or a neighborhood, and still be different from one another.
Now that we know the situation that is going on the ESP classroom, it is time to analyze the context. We have a classroom full of students of different nationalities. That is, a classroom full with different perspectives of the world. So, why does language get in the way? According to the Sapir-Whorf theory, language shapes the way we think and what we can think about. That means that the student's perspective or reality is shaped by the undeniable and huge role of their mother tongue and the culture that the language carries, as illustrated by Burham, Gribkova, and Starkey. Social identities are related to cultures. Someone who is Chinese will have acquired that identity through being brought up surrounded by other Chinese, unconsciously learning their beliefs, values, and behaviors. Similarly, someone whose social identities include being a teacher will have acquired the knowledge, values, and behavior they share with other teachers through a process of socialization. Along with language, there's more getting in the way and molding a student's reality, a whole culture to be more exact. Let's put it the following way. Seeing the world through a language is like seeing it through a pair of glasses where we get a particular perception. Therefore, the students are seeing it through their own pair of glasses, through their language and its established convictions. What an ESP teacher has to assimilate is that he or she has to give the student those glasses in order for them to engage in this new reality through the development of intercultural competence, which is defined by Deardorff 2006 as the ability to develop targeted knowledge, skills, and attitudes that lead to visible behavior and communication that are both effective and appropriate in intercultural interactions. That broadens the focus of teaching in the context we are given, having two main targets: to give learners intercultural competence as well as linguistic competence. Since a language can affect one's reality, another language can, indeed, enlarge perspectives and develop new competences added into that already built-up reality.
Learning a language is entering in a new world, especially because it is tied up to culture. Nowadays, for many causes such as economy, political problems, and many others, around 258 million of people are migrants. Therefore, citizens of many countries have had to get used to listening to different languages and dialects, maybe in their work environment, classroom, and even at home. But it is necessary to remember that only if the interaction between these groups of people is peaceful and respectful, interculturalism takes place. In addition, it is also necessary to keep in mind that every person who moves to another country is going to try to be incorporated into that society. So, to achieve it successfully, they must learn a new language, if it is the case, of course, but focusing in their goals. And that's why ESP courses are very important. Also, leaving aside migrations, currently processes of intercultural encounters, facilitated mobility, and technological advances continue to shape ways of existing and staying in touch. So, to achieve familiarization with different ways of thinking and seeing the world, there has been an increasing recognition of the rudimentary importance of promoting intercultural competences into language teaching.